So, this is gonna be a nice little story time about when I got raped. For starters, don't judge my hair. I need a haircut, and I have a hole in my shirt. If y'all peep that, don't say nothing about it. But I waited a very long time to put this out there, and I always wanted my story out there. I don't know, to help others speak up, stuff like that. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Well, it kind of started when I was like, I want to say when I was like 7, maybe 8. I got molested. I'm not gonna say no names in this video because it's not really necessary. But he's not my blood family. It's my cousin's uncle on her dad's side. He used to just like touch on me and stuff like that, and I never really said anything because I was scared to speak up about it. I don't know, I always thought it was my fault. I always thought I would get in trouble for it, so I never spoke up about it. And it went on for a while, and he would always tell me to be quiet and not say anything, so I listened. And one day, he was living with his mom, of course. He was not grown yet. He was like 16, maybe 17, like around that age. He was living with his mom. Everybody called her grandma, even though it's not my grandma. It's not everybody's grandma, but everybody called her grandma. We was over there, and I was with my cousins, A and B. I'm not gonna say their names, of course, but I was with my cousins A and B, and they wanted to sleep in his room, and I was uncomfortable with it, but I didn't say anything. I don't know, I always thought I was gonna get in trouble. So I was like, cool. So we slept in his room, and the way we were sleeping, it was my cousin B, then it was me, and then it was him, and then it was my cousin A. Why he decided to sleep next to me, I don't know. Was I uncomfortable? Very, but I couldn't fall asleep that night. I was like up the whole night. They were sleeping, and he was laying there, I was laying there, and he got up, left out the room, and went into the, like, I guess you would call that like a den. Like, they had a little living room set up kind of in the basement. That's what his room was. He went out there with his girlfriend, and I don't know, whatever they were doing out there, and he came back in the room. Still wasn't asleep. I don't know why I couldn't go to sleep. He laid back next to me, and at that point, I don't know, he tried to get me to take my pants off, and I'm like, nah. Like, I was saying stop. I wasn't really loud. I was kind of like saying stop because they were sleeping and I didn't want to wake them up. And for some odd reason, I always thought I would get in trouble if anybody found out. I always thought it would be me to get in trouble. But I kept telling him to stop, and he ended up forcing my pants off, and then it sort of happened. Not sort of, it did happen. And after he was finished, well, while it was happening, I cried, but I didn't say stop. I just froze. Like, I couldn't get any words out. I just cried and sat there and took the very worst pain of my life. And after he was done, he put my pants back on, and he turned around and went to sleep. And I got up, and I went in the bathroom, and I cried myself to sleep that night in the bathroom because, yeah, that was like the worst, literally the worst day of my life. My whole 18 years of living, that is the worst day of my whole entire life, literally. And for a while, I didn't say anything. Like, for a very, very long time, for years, I wouldn't say anything. I did not speak about it because I always thought I would get in trouble. I always thought nothing would happen. So I didn't speak about it. I didn't say anything until I was, I want to say 13, 14-ish. I know I was in middle school. I'm sorry, I don't do well with these ages and stuff. It's not stuff that I want to remember. It's stuff that I try to forget and act like it never happened. But it did happen, and hey, my family just got to deal with that. And that's something I had to overcome and learn to live with. But when I was about 13, 14, the first person I ever told, the very first person I ever told was, I'm going to call her C. That was my stepsister at the time. I still consider her as my sister no matter what. I'm going to call her C. We're not gonna put any names in this video. I told her, and I cried, and she held me while I cried. And then she told me that I had to tell my mom. And I didn't want to tell my mom, and she said if I didn't tell my mom, she was going to tell my mom. So I was like, okay. But when I told her, I didn't tell her I got raped. I just told her that he touched me. I never told anybody I got raped until after a while I finally said it. I just couldn't say it. I don't know. I couldn't get the words out. I always thought I would get in trouble for it. Even though now I know it's not my fault at all. But she left that day. That night, it was a Sunday. I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I asked my mom to come here. And she came in the room, and I told her to read the paper. And she was like, well, how did he touch you? And I was like, he touched me. And she said, well, how? I said, he touched me. And then that was really it. Like, she didn't really say anything. She just left out the room. Like, she threw the paper back on the floor, and she left out the room, and she went on about her conversation on the phone. And then I guess she called, I don't know who she called, but she called a lot of people and told them, like, I want to say she called my auntie, she called one of my cousins. She called people and told them what I said. And it was kind of like, they asked me, like, how did he touch you? But I could never get the words out to tell them, like, he raped me, or he did this, he did that. I kind of just was like, he touched me. And that kind of was the end of it. Like, they told me not to tell anybody else and not to bring it up again. And I don't know. I was just like, I was upset about that because I felt like he should have gotten in trouble for that. And then some time went by, and I don't know. It's like after I told them, I started going through a lot of stuff. I was just dealing with a lot. Depression started to hit. It was just a lot that I was going through. And then after a while, I ended up telling certain friends. Like, I got close to certain people. When I told certain friends and stuff and talked to them about it, and some of those friends were, they were loyal, and they kept their promises to not tell anybody. And some people, when I told them if we fall off or we stop talking, it was like they went around and told the whole school. It was to the point where people was at school like, that's why you got raped, or you had sex with one of your uncles, or you had sex with your cousin. It was like a lot. It's like too much. It was like, it made me even more depressed. But after a while, I ended up moving down to Florida with my dad because I didn't want to be in Michigan anymore with my mom. It was just too much. So I moved to Florida with my dad. When I was living with him, I brought it up again because I was mad. Like, I was mad that they didn't do anything about it. I was mad that he didn't get in any type of trouble. I was mad that they didn't believe me. So I brought it up to him, but that's when I told him that I got raped. And my dad was like, you didn't tell me he had sex with you. And I was like I didn't say anything. And then he called my mom and brought it up to her. And she was like, I don't know why she's still bringing this up. She just saying it for attention. And I'm like, why would I say something like that for attention? Why would I pick a random person in my family and just come up with some genius lie and say that for attention? Like, what type of attention do I need? What type of attention am I getting out of that? Like, what? That doesn't make sense. But she was like, I'm gonna ask him about it. And I guess she ended up asking him, the person who did that to me, she asked him about it, and of course he denied it. And she was like, well, he denied it. He said he didn't do it, so she need to just let it go. So it was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, who's gonna admit to raping somebody? Nobody. What was your point in asking him? If anything, I'm your child. You should believe me no matter what. So for a very long time, I did not forgive my parents for that. I didn't forgive them for not believing me. I didn't forgive them for any of it, for not doing anything. I did not forgive them. And I brought it up again. Like a couple years later, I brought it up again. And I don't know. My mom was like, it happens. We just can't do anything about it. Not all the time can we do anything about it. Or something weird that she said. It really made me mad. We were texting about it while I was at school, and she said that it made me mad. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And I'm not gonna say I just dropped the situation, but I realized it was something that I had to get over on my own, and something that my family would never believe me for. And I started to distance myself from that side of my family for real. They started to look at me differently. So I don't know. Everybody thought I was lying. Everybody thought he was just so innocent. And to this day, we don't even bring that up anymore. Like, I don't go around that side of my family as much anymore. And anytime I see him, I get really uncomfortable. Just like, I didn't make this video to get him in trouble or anything like that. I never got that type of justice, but I'm actually okay with that now. I made this video to put my story out there and to help others learn to put their story out there. If something like that is happening to you, or if it's happened to you, you should speak up. You should say something about it. Like, don't keep quiet. If you have to stop talking to your whole family, then you stop talking to your whole family, but nobody should suffer in silence. It's not fair to anybody at all. Everybody's story should be out there. Everybody's story should be heard. And everybody deserves justice for whatever it is that's happening to them, or what happened to them, or what's going on now. Everybody deserves that justice. And after this video, certain people might see it and certain people might get mad, and I might not speak to certain people ever again, but I'm actually okay with that because I've been quiet way too long. And I just feel like my story deserves to be out there, deserves to be heard. And it could help a lot of people. You never know who it might help. So, all I'm going to say is, if it's happened to you, or if it is happening to you, speak up. Don't be quiet. Like, you deserve to be heard. Honestly and truly. And keep your head up. That goes for everybody. Keep your head up no matter what you're going through or what you've been through. If you're going through hell right now, keep going. Don't stop. Just keep going. Because in the end, it's all worth it. Keep your head up and just stay positive. I want everybody to keep their head up and stay positive. Keep a positive mindset every day. And no matter what you've been through, what you're going through, trust me, you'll get through it and you'll be okay. But yeah, that's it. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. You know, like the video, repost it, you know, comment and subscribe. I love you, gang. Peace out.